guys, Julia here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here today with a ship with me. These are all orders that came through over the weekend. Some really interesting sales, some really fast sales, and also some like unexpected flops. So I'm kind of excited to kind of bring you into my thought process here. Let's talk about what these are, why I picked it up, what I thought it was gonna do, how long I had it for, what I sold it for, all that kind of stuff. Really just kind of like show you my thought process when it comes to these things. But before we get started here, guys, if this is your first time here, if this is your first time stumbling on my channel, first and foremost, welcome. I am Julia, that is my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and the business of reselling on the internet here. If that sounds like something that you might be into, consider hitting subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. Before we dive in here though, guys, I've had a lot of people reach out and ask my thoughts on what is going on with Poshmark. What are my thoughts on this new like listing rule that they've rolled out? And I mean, the long and short of it is, I think it's kind of a good move. I think it shocked a lot of people. There's always a pushback. I think at the end of the day, this was something that needed to be fixed. But, big but, huge but, I think we can all agree that the execution was absolutely terrible. At the end of the day on Poshmark, there was a problem with people completely delisting and relisting their entire closet like every other day. It was clogging up feeds, and we talk a lot about customer experience here, and that's a big problem. You're either a seller like me, or you're a shopper who is engaged enough in the reselling world that you are watching YouTube channels about it, right? But if you're just a casual user who's like, oh, I saw this really cute thing at Revolve, I wanna like poke in and see if there's anything like it for sale, like getting onto the Poshmark app is very overwhelming. And if every time that you log on, you're seeing the same stuff, it's a bad experience. Now, obviously we've all heard the stories about people who have sold two things on eBay and they've gotten delisted and they've gotten themselves suspended. I'm not sure how this wasn't tested before. I don't think that they are naive to the fact that people cross-list very, very frequently. So this should have been tested. This should have a different threshold. Obviously, I don't know what their back end looks like. I don't know exactly what the settings were that were triggering these suspensions, but I was kind of waiting to see if they released a statement or if they rolled out like an adjusted thing before I talked about it, just because, you know, I'm sure it's something that they've heard a lot about, and I'm sure it's something that they're addressing on the back end. But I've had a lot of people ask about it, so we're talking about it. So do I think it was something that was necessary? I do. I think that eventually that was something that had to happen. I think it does give everybody more of a fair shot. It does allow newer, fresher inventory to be in front of like the casual browsers, which is what we all want, right? Like we don't want to spend 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours listing in a day, just knowing that that's going to get drowned out by the same stuff that's being relisted over and over and over again by some sellers. That's a problem. I think it's one of many things that needs to change to enhance the customer experience. I mean, if you want my opinion, I think that their biggest problem is that they're still kind of cannibalizing their own business with the way that they're pushing live shows. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a ton of amazing live sellers out there. They're doing a great job. You know, they are in like head-to-head competition with whatnot. And, you know, remembering the fact that Poshmark's parent company is in Korea, you know, you need to know that like live selling is huge in Asia. Huge, huge, huge. So there's no question when you have a parent company that's like paying the bills and pulling the strings, like you have to kind of do what they're pushing you to do. So I don't know if this is something that's coming from the parent company or if this is something that's coming from Poshmark. Either way, it is something that they are fully invested in, and it's going to be a part of Poshmark, presumably from this point forward. That being said, I have a couple people in my life that are very like, they kind of know what I do, but they don't understand like the depth of what I do. They're definitely not like heavily engaged in reselling. So when I ask these people like what they think when they open up the app, universally what they say is it's completely overwhelming. There's way too many things on that homepage. They just don't even know where to start. They have so many notifications, either the live shows or the giveaways, which they still haven't given us the option to opt out of those kind of notifications. You know, it's an overwhelming experience. Again, we have a very different experience because we are heavily engaged in the app and we kind of know how to like sift through the nonsense. But at the end of the day, you have two completely different customers. Somebody who is logging on to watch a live show and like build a rapport with the seller and maybe find a great deal, like that is a completely different buyer than somebody who logged on to see if they could find that one dress that they saw in Revolve and get it for cheaper. Totally different consumers looking for totally different things, and they're both being hit with the same thing. And at the end of the day, like I'm somebody, I don't do live sales. That is just where I am right now. No shame to anybody who does live sales. I think that the live sales would benefit from like a dedicated space. I think that both ways of selling should be separated in one way or another, either with a separate app so the people that are there for live sales can like have their world and that's what they engage in and that's great, and the people who are interested in closet sales only don't have this in their face 24/7 when they're on the app, or if they kind of separate it and give us a little bit more control on the notifications. The notifications are the one thing that everybody keeps harping on. They're like, the notifications are overwhelming. Like I deleted the app because I just kept getting notifications, and I teach them how to like turn them off and all, but like that's not intuitive, right? Like there are so many notifications coming from Poshmark that are set to like automatic on that it would, I mean, if I was a consumer and I was just downloading it today and that was my experience, I would have deleted that app so fast and gone straight to like Mercari or eBay or whatever. Like that's totally honest. I mean, I'm somebody who has just, you know, I work on my phone. I have enough notifications. If I have an app that I'm going on once every 3 months to find a great Free People sweater or something, and they're sending me 75 notifications a day, so gone. It's so gone. It would be deleted from my phone so fast. And I know that there's a lot of people out there like that. I've worked in the tech industry. I've worked in big companies, small companies, and I know that there is probably a list of things that they want to get done, and which ones get set to the front of line is always going to be a question of, you know, cost to implement. So what's the development cost in doing what they're doing? What's the impact to the bottom line, or what's the impact to the customer experience? So I'm kind of interested that this was the first thing that kind of came up, because again, I do think it's something that needed to be done. Execution could obviously have been better, but I think that there are other things that could have made a better impact. Like I think that their sort filter is terrible. Like you can either sort by your size and you can only select X amount of things, or all sizes, right? But take Free People, for instance. I can be an extra small or a 2X in Free People, depending on the garment. And sometimes if I'm searching for something that's oversized, I want to be able to search those smaller sizes, right? If I wanted to search a smaller size in Free People, I basically have to rewrite my entire my size. So like that kind of stuff is very frustrating from a search point of view. In terms of their algorithm, a lot of the problem in the algorithm is people using these like AI generated keyword blocks. There's a reason that when you search for, you know, Free People eyelet tops, you're getting all different kinds of things, including men's pieces, including like cocktail dresses and this, that, and the other. And that's because that is a seller issue. That is because the sellers are putting casual top as a keyword in something that's like a cocktail dress, right? So that's a problem, and that basically would require an entire algorithm redesign to kind of catch that kind of behavior. So how and when that is going to be done is a question mark. It's, you know, it's people gaming the system, and you know, you look at Google. Google's been combating people trying to game the system for as long as Google has existed. So if you look at the history of like Google algorithm updates, it's always been to kind of weed out those people that are kind of gaming the system. Now, I'm going to assume that the people who write the algorithm for Poshmark are not as sophisticated as the team at Google. Those are like the best in the world. So it's going to be a question mark as to whether or not that is going to be addressed or how that's going to be addressed. What we can do as sellers is to do our best to keyword appropriately and give those buyers the better experience. Because at the end of the day, if we don't have the buyers, we don't have business there, right? Like if the buyers get too frustrated by searching for a Free People eyelet top, you know, and they don't find one until 3 pages down, like that's not going to be a good experience, and they're never going to come back. I know I wouldn't, right? So that's my 2 cents as of right now. I'm interested to see what comes out over the next couple weeks. I'm filming this on Monday. For all I know, by the time this airs on Thursday, they could have pushed through an update. They could have addressed all the concerns. But at the end of the day, I think that this is a good thing for people who operate above board. Do they need to fix the whole like delisting issue with selling things on other platforms? Yes, and it sounds like they have. Like I've had several days, you know, since this has gone on where I've sold 5, 6, 7 things on other platforms and they've delisted and I haven't had an issue. I haven't really heard any stories in the past couple days about people getting suspended with 2 things. So I think that they are working on it behind the scenes, but ultimately this is going to provide a better experience for buyers, and a better experience for buyers means more buyers for us, the sellers. So there you have it. Feel free to weigh in down below. Be kind, guys. People have opinions. They're allowed to have opinions. I'm allowed to have opinions. You're allowed to have opinions. But ultimately, if they're doing stuff like this, to me, that is a good sign that they are paying attention to the buyer experience. And that can only mean good things for us as sellers. Now, we have to do our part. I'll do my best. I will help you guys do your best to provide a great experience to your buyers. But ultimately, I think that this is a good sign that they are taking buyer experience into account. Finally, on the closet side. But off my soapbox here, guys. We've got a lot of stuff to get through here. It's mid-afternoon. I gotta get these things packed up and over to the post office. So why don't you go grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and let's get into the shipments. So the first piece we have here is this most amazing nautical print blazer. Some of you guys will probably remember this. I very strongly considered keeping this. I've said that I want, one of my birthdays, I want to like charter a yacht and I want to go into the sunset listening to Christopher Cross and Michael McDonald in a sailor's hat, something like this with champagne in hand. You know, like, I don't think that that's too much to ask. And I tried it on and it's super cute and a lot of you told me to keep it and I tried it on a few different times and I didn't love it enough to keep it and I knew that somebody would want something like this. And by the time I'm able to do that birthday party that I talk about, it's probably gonna be a couple years, so chances are I'm gonna find something similar to this between now and then. Either way, it's fabulous, 80s, everything you want in a nautical, tongue-in-cheek kind of piece, over the top. So this one was an Etsy sale, which I always love. I've been selling over on Etsy for a long time, longer than I've been very serious in Poshmark and eBay and stuff. Definitely got my start in vintage and that's always forever where my heart is going to live. And a lot of you have asked for me to clarify, like, what is my criteria for what I sell on Etsy versus everything else. So for me, Etsy is only vintage things pre-2005. That is their rules. Their rules, their terms of service are it's either gotta be vintage or handmade. And I know that the handmade part has gotten kind of muddy in the past couple years with them allowing drop shippers, print on demand type stuff. But in the vintage world, it's still pretty solid business there. So anything that's made pre-2005 gets listed on Etsy. And then pretty much everything else gets listed everywhere else. Using Vendoo, using my cross lister makes that very, very easy. But if you are picking and choosing what goes where, I would use more youth-oriented stuff over on Depop, and then I would list everything else everywhere else. Anyway, so I had this listed for $35 and I had it listed for about a month and a half and it popped through as full price sale. I don't do offers over on Etsy. And with a $2 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $28. And oh my God, I hope she loves this as much as I do. This is one of those blazers, like, listen, in 2 years when I have that birthday party, I may regret the fact that I'm selling that. But for now, it makes me happy that it's going to a new home and getting some use. Next up, now we've talked about Torrid a lot here, and this is one of the last Torrid pieces I have. And honestly, I've had this one for so long, and I just thought it was so cute. It's got a little bit of a retro vibe to it, a little rockabilly vibe to it. It's like semi-sheer. It's got the cute little studded Peter Pan style collar there. And I've had a ton of interest and a ton of inquiries on it over the time that I've had it, but just no movement. And again, you know, we've talked about Torrid. Torrid used to be such a great, I don't want to call it a bolo, like things didn't sell super, super high, but it did always sell really quickly. And that has just dropped off a cliff recently. And it sounds like you guys are having kind of the same experience. Really only picking up things that are definitively like vintage, a little bit goth, a little bit more like rockabilly style. And that's pretty much what I'm doing. Like, I am leaving behind 99.9% of the Torrid that I see in the bins, and that kills me because I know how well this used to do. But in a business like ours, we need to be adapting and adjusting 100% of the time. It's kind of what's fun about doing these videos is like anytime I ship, like I usually only record one ship day a week. I usually ship 3 days a week. And every time I'm packing something, I'm like, okay, how did this do? You know, I'm constantly thinking about it. I'm constantly like looking at the sales, seeing how they're doing and adjusting my sourcing strategy accordingly, right? So like this gives us an opportunity to kind of do that together. I just kind of think out loud. But anyway, like I said, I'm just very much slowed down on Torrid, like 98% slowed down on Torrid. I had this for a year and a half. I had it listed for $24 and I had lowered the price several times. Got an offer for $20, which I did accept. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a $15 profit. So I hope she loves it. It is super duper cute. Cute little retro vintage style. All right, next up, I've got this cute top. Now this is from Pamela Dennis and it's 100% silk and it's really beautifully made. It's got these like gemstone buttons and it's basically new without tags, right? Like some of the buttons are still like wrapped up in paper. And the funny thing was when I found this, I'm like, okay, this is silk, Pamela Dennis, I recognize the name. However, I recognize the name wrong. Now, Pamela Dennis, in reality, very high-end designer. She was really big in the 90s. She did a lot of runway. So like, I remember hearing people, you know, like, who are you wearing? And it was Pamela Dennis. Like she did a lot of runway stuff. However, the brand on this specifically is Pamela Dennis Private Client Group. And that was a line that she did with, I can't remember if it was QVC or Home Shopping. Either way, it's still beautifully made. It's size 12. Again, 100% silk with those really special buttons. So definitely a nice little piece. Probably not something that I would pay up for. I mean, if you see it in the bins, you should probably grab it, especially if it's something really nice like this, like silk. But I wouldn't go paying like $12 for it, but a couple bucks at the bins all day. That being said, when I said that I knew who this was, but I was wrong, is I initially thought was, oh, she did all the costumes for Sex and the City, which she didn't. That's Patricia Field. Patricia Field was probably one of the most well-known costumers ever in the history of TV. But either way, so I was wrong. You know, the quality was still there. So, you know, I'm glad I picked it up and I'm glad I learned a little bit about it. But yeah, definitely thought when I picked this up that this was the person who costumed Sex and the City. Sometimes my little snap brain moves too fast for my own good. Anyway, I had this listed for just a month and a half. I did actually have a lot of interest on it. So again, not something that I would pay up crazy for, but you know, definitely if you're getting it at the right price and like the quality is nice, I would pick it up. I got an offer for $25, which I did accept after a month and a half. I think I said that. With a $2 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $18.38. I hope she loves it. That is so, so pretty. I mean, like paisley silk, where could you go wrong, right? Next up, now I do these. I know a lot of people don't touch these, but I'm here to say that if you are able to get these at the right price, you should absolutely be picking these up. Now, this is bins only, right? Like this is $1, $2 only. It's from Free People Intimately. These little bralettes sell so well for me. Do they sell for a super high price? Absolutely not. You're gonna get between $15 and $20 on them. They sell pretty reliably for me. So I'm gonna continue to pick. Do not go paying like $5 and up for them. I would never get these at like the regular thrift store, strictly at the bins, especially if you're at a bins that pays like by the pound. Like I would love to find a little cache of these in the bins that I go to back east where it's like $1.30 a pound, something stupid like that. Like 10 of these would weigh a pound. But I like picking them up and I know like the shipping seems expensive on them. You know, obviously I'm not picking up ones that are in rough condition. But at the end of the day, they're still like $40, $50 on Free People and people love these bralettes. Like the demand is there. So I will continue picking these up. So I had this listed for just under 1 month. I had it listed for $22 and I got an offer for $18. It seems to be about what I typically see, which I did accept. With a $2 cost of the bins. This brought me to a profit of $13.48. The big thing for me, like I deal with a very small storage area. So anytime I can find something like that that's like a reliable seller that's very, very small, I'm in, you know? And if there's ever kind of like an odd case where it stays around for a year or 2 years, it doesn't matter because it's not taking up that much space. I have a little bin of them and they all stay together and I can fit like 150 of them in that bin. So I'm always excited to find those. Next up, this is another one that I knew would go pretty dang quickly. This is from Free People. This is called the Solitaire sweater. It's 100% cashmere. I believe you just saw this on the haul on Monday. I mean, cashmere from Free People, hello. It's gonna be a quick seller. I love this color. It's also a size large. I've had this sweater before in black, but it was like an extra small. It still sold super, super quick. But yeah, this is definitely a find. And I've mentioned this a million times before. I will pick up cashmere anytime I find it. It sells for me all summer, sells for me all winter. It's a luxe fabric. Beach sweater, like this is a perfect little luxury beach sweater. And I mean, it's Free People, so the brand itself sells it, but the fact that it's cashmere, I don't think that Free People does a whole lot of cashmere pieces. This is like the only pieces that I've ever found from Free People that are cashmere is this sweater twice. So, but either way, like cashmere in general is something I'm pretty comfortable paying up for. Even if I find like Charter Club cashmere at the regular thrift where it's $8, like I know I'm probably gonna get like $30 at a minimum. Like those pieces will go 30 to 40. And then when you get into nicer brands like Free People will go like 40, 50, maybe even 60, depending on what it is, and up, right? You find yourself a Jenny Kane cashmere sweater, you got $200 on your hands. So anyway, I had this listed for just 1 week. Not at all surprised that it popped off this quickly. And I had it listed for $65, got an offer for $50, which I did accept with a $2 cost of the bins. This brought me to a profit of $38 even. And I hope she loves it. It's such a great little sweater. I love that color. Next up, we've got another little Free People piece. This is an adorable little gauze and eyelet top. This was one of those unexpected flops that I was talking about. When I picked this up, I thought it was so cute. It's 100% cotton. I think it's a size large. No, size medium. It's a decent size. I think the kind of curse of this one is that it did not photograph well. Like I think that this looks really cute on a body, and even the stock photos for this top like didn't look great. Yeah, I just don't think that they did a very good job photographing it. I don't think it photographed well. It's super cute and the person who bought it is gonna love it. Yeah, this was definitely an unexpected flop. I've had this for a while. And this was one of the ones when I got it that I thought was gonna move pretty quickly. I think this is called the 2 to Tango top, something like that, if you wanna take a look at the stock photos. That being said, I had this listed for about 8 months. And I had it listed for $36 and I got an offer for $35. So I can never understand why those come through. I'll never be upset about them, but here we are. And I got it off for $35, which I did accept with a $1 cost at the bins. This brought me to a profit of $31.17. I hope she loves it. I mean, again, this is one of those, you know, sometimes you'll have pieces that look great on hangers and then you have pieces that look absolutely horrible on hangers. This looked horrible on a hanger. Next up, this is another one of those kind of unexpected flops, and I thought this was so cute. This is like a little kimono, and it's got these like pointed sleeves. I love the color combo. I love everything about this. And it's missing the tag, but it's from UMG, and pieces like this from UMG generally sell very, very well for me. But for whatever reason, this one did not. And maybe it's because of the unusual silhouette of it. Like this is gonna be a hard one even to fold. Just the color combo alone, I was floored that it took as long as it did to sell. I still stand by my love of kimonos, especially as we're in the summer. These are like great kind of twofer pieces, right? Like you get them, you bring them on vacation, they can be a full cover up, they can be like something you throw on over your clothes at night if it gets chilly. You know, I think as the economy slows down, as it has been doing, people are going to be looking for more like multi-purpose type garments, you know, things that they can use in multiple different ways. What I really hope we start to go away from is like the one-time use garments, you know, like the Shein type stuff. I'd love to see less of that in the bins. That is just so upsetting to me because I know nobody's buying it. Nobody's even paying $1 for it. It's going straight to a landfill. Either way, I had this one listed for a year. I think it might have been even a little bit over a year. I can't even make a decision on this. I would probably pick this up tomorrow if I found another one because I just think it's so cute. But it was an unexpected flop, so here we are. I had it listed for $28 and I got an offer for $24, and with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $21.67. So still a decent profit, but yeah, it took a while and I will never understand why that one took so long. Next up, this is another one that took a little while, and I think it has more to do with the size than with what it is. This is from Everlane, and this is, I think they call this the clean silk shirt. And it's just a beautiful little peach silk sleeveless blouse. but it is a size extra small. So I think that that's why this took as long as it did. You know, when you're dealing with an extra small, the buyer pool is so small, kind of doesn't matter how nice of a brand it is. I've really slowed down on picking up anything that's extra small unless it's pretty extraordinary. Let me know if you do the same. I like Everlane pieces though. Like if you are in the market for like good high quality basics, great brand. I mean, look for it on the secondhand market, buy it new, you can buy pretty comfortably. Everything I've ever seen from there has been really nicely made. Really nice textiles, all that kind of stuff. They're very transparent about their supply chain, which is kind of refreshing. Historically, the supply chain in textiles and garments has been incredibly opaque. And I'm not saying like we don't know where these things are made. We're talking about the things that happen before final assembly factories. We're talking about the fiber harvesting, the yarn spinning, the dyeing, all that kind of stuff. There's typically like multiple different factories that are involved in any piece of garment. It's always refreshing when you get a little bit more of a view into where these things are being made. Anyway, I had this listed for, again, a year. Glad to be clearing out some of these older things, but you know, we've got some lessons learned here, which again, oftentimes just as valuable as knowing what does sell is knowing what not to pick up. So I had it listed for $25. It did pop through as a full price sale, so there you go. I feel like a lot of the times when I have these older pieces that are like kind of on the chopping block ready to go, they pop through as full price sales. Let me know if you have the same experience, because I think that's kind of odd and it happens pretty frequently, at least for me. Anyway, had it listed for a year, popped through as a full price sale at $25 with a $1 cost of the bins. This brought me to a profit of $22.13. So I hope she loves it. It is quite nice. Everybody loves a silk blouse. All right, next up. Now this is definitely a bolo. This is, again, something you probably saw on the haul this Monday if you watched. This is a cute little dress from a brand called Lioness, which in and of itself isn't a particularly expensive brand, but it is a very in-demand brand. This is the logo you're looking for here. So these guys they do a lot of like kind of party wear, like club wear. No idea how to fold this. They're definitely like a nicer quality than like a standard fast fashion. But for right now, because they've done a lot of like clever influencer work, like seeding this out to different influencers, and because their stuff is, you know, being worn by these people that everybody are seeing, they're in high demand. I want to say that the retail on these pieces is like $80, but they have the scarcity thing going for them. So, I mean, like $80 is expensive, but it's not like $300, right? It's not like some of the things that you find at like Revolve. But I think the big thing here is that they sell out. And I don't know if they do second runs of anything. So there's that kind of built-in scarcity demand, and that's great. So do I think that Lioness has like the potential for like being like a long-term bolo? Maybe. I doubt it. These kind of things tend to like flare really hot. You know, think about like White Fox, like a year or two ago. White Fox, you couldn't keep it in your closet. Now it sits a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong, it still has some demand, but their stuff is very much in the same vein, right? But it's just nowhere near as in demand as it was 2 years ago. So, you know, we'll see, but for right now, I want you to keep your eyes out for this brand, especially if you happen to be close to like a college campus. I think you're gonna see like a higher concentration of stuff like this on like college campuses and near those types of areas, just because that's really who they're targeted to. So anyway, I had this listed for $49 for just 1 week, and it popped through as a full price sale. So with a $6 cost at the kind of curated thrift boutique that I went to, this brings me to a profit of $33.20. And I will tell you that as soon as I had this listed, this did take a week to sell, but as soon as I had this listed, I started getting interest in it. Like, that is a brand right now that is selling very, very hot, and for a really good percentage of the retail price. So we love those kind of brands. Next up is this adorable Sundance top. This is 100% silk, kind of puff sleeves, and it's got this gorgeous like olive velvet neckline. I think that this is actually an older Sundance piece, but I kind of don't care. I'm gonna pick up any Sundance piece that I find, and I just don't find it anywhere near as I want to. I will say this every time I have a Sundance piece, but if you are in Utah, please guys, be snapping up the Sundance pieces that you find, because I know that there's a lot there. They just sell so well for me. They're so unique. It feels to me like Sundance gives me like, I don't want to say budget, because their stuff is still very expensive, but as compared to Johnny Was, like it gives me like the budget Johnny Was. And indeed, like the resale value on it is kind of like Johnny Was light, right? So for people who love that kind of look, but don't have, you know, $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 for a garment, you know, Sundance is a great option for them. And I think that they've done a couple collabs in the past as well, which makes sense. They're like a perfect match. But I love Sundance. My love for Sundance is absolutely positively no secret. So all of you people out there in Utah, please be snapping up those Sundance pieces for me, if for nothing else. Just do it for me. And by like do it for me, I don't mean like buy it for me and send it to me. Like, do it. You sell it, you get the profit, but please pick it up. Anyway, I had this listed for about 4 months. Not super surprised. It's a pretty springy, summery shirt. And I had it listed for $32. My sidekick sent an offer for $28, which I did accept. With a $1 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $21.40. And I hope she loves it. That floral silk is just so pretty. Next up, this is another one you saw on the haul on Monday. This is one of those 4 Free People pieces that I picked up. And this sold so quick. This is just like a little trapeze top. It's like textured cotton with little ruche sleeves. Size small, it's a great color, and I'm gonna guess that this sold because it's this pink. But Free People, you know, we've talked a lot about Free People. I'm getting a little bit more selective with what I pick up. A lot of stuff is pretty saturated. Like I will leave behind mainline basics for sure. We the Free basics I still pick up. I still do very well with them. But the mainline with the metal tag basics I will surely leave behind. But these kind of t-shirts do well for me from them. But is this something that I would have paid $5.99 for in a regular thrift store? Probably not, right? So like that's kind of where my threshold is. Like if I'm finding this kind of stuff at the bins for $1, $2, $3, whatever, like I'm in. But you hit that $4 mark and I'm kind of like, maybe not. But this one was a surprise. I'm kind of surprised at how fast this one did sell. I had this listed for just 3 days. And I had it listed for $32 and it popped through as a full price sale. So there you go. I mean, this is me being surprised by my own stuff. With a $2 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $27.66. So always a pleasant surprise when something like this sells so quickly and for full price. It doesn't happen all that often. All right, next up, now this is one, I found 2 of these guys. And again, you saw this on the haul. I already sold the other one. So this is from Quince, and this is a nursing cover or nursing shawl. But these are just a little touch of luxury for somebody who is really in the trenches of being a new mom, right? Because the cool thing about this is that, yes, it's a nursing cover and it has like a functional use, but it also looks pretty chic on. Like I would 100% wear this just like, you know, without a newborn baby, right? Like it's just a really cute little topper piece. And I want to say that these retail like $39 from Quince. So you can expect to get somewhere between like 15 and 25 for them on the resale market. The other one I had like the oatmeal colored one, that one already sold. They both sold in like 1 day. So take that into consideration with the prices that I'm about to tell you if you do find them. So they're crazy, crazy fast movers. But yeah, so I had this listed for 1 day and I had it listed for $26. Within 1 day, got an offer for $18, which I did accept. With a $2 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $12.40. And listen, you can give me things that I will make a $12 profit on. If I can get them in and out of my hands in like a day, I'll do that all day. If that was something that took like a year and a half to sell at that price, I would never touch it. But you know, it meets that like fast moving criteria for me. Next up, this was another one that kind of took a lot longer to sell than I thought it would. And again, it's extra small, so I'm going to assume that that's the problem. This is from a brand called Solangelus, and this is the logo you're looking for. This is like a high-end kind of California casual brand, and it's like a little midi dress. Now they still make this dress, but it's shorter. This is the kind of brand that you'll see in the same kind of place that'll sell like Aviator Nation, right? It's similar vibe, and it's similarly expensive, not quite as expensive as Aviator Nation. Those prices are ridiculous and those are absolutely worth paying up for. But Solangelus is up there, you know, it's up there price-wise. And I really love their stuff. Like I find pieces, like there's a lot of the Solangelus pieces that I have found while out thrifting have not left my closet, you know, occupational hazard and all that. So if you are in the market for some good like loungy kind of casual clothes like that, check out Solangelus. You're gonna have that like Aviator Nation-y vibe without the Aviator Nation-y price tag, even on the resale market. Like their t-shirts will probably go more like 20 to 25 versus Aviator Nation going like 40 to 50. But this dress took a while to sell. Again, it was an extra small, so that's probably the culprit. So anyway, I had this listed for about 6 months. I think if this was a bigger size, it probably would have gone a little bit quicker, probably more within like a month or so. I had it listed at $38 and I got an offer for $30, which I did accept with a $1 cost of the bins. This brought me to a profit of $23 even. I hope she loves it. Oh my God, that dress I love those kind of like jersey dresses for around the house. Like I live in them in the summer. Next up is this cute little top from Young, Fabulous, and Broke. This is like a linen blend kind of twist front. Blouse in the most like delicate pale pink color. I kind of have to do my best here so it doesn't get completely crushed in transit. It's gonna get somewhat crushed. But I love these kinds of shirts. I'm the person who does this a lot with like my regular button downs. I like to kind of tie it in the front, give it a little bit of a Katharine Hepburn kind of feel to it. One of my style queens forever. But these are such just timeless shirts. You know, it's nice and breezy. The thing that I like about it is it's gonna hold that shape. I can't tell you how many times, like without noticing it, you know, if I'm running around and I've got my shirt kind of tied in the front, like how many times I look down and it's just like a wrinkly mess that's come out of the tie, you know? And I do love linen, so when I say a wrinkly mess, it's an exceptionally wrinkly mess. But yeah, so I had this one listed for about 6 months. Not super surprising because I did find this, I want to say like November. It's a very springy top. And I had it listed for $25 and got an offer for $20, which I did accept. And with a $1 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $17.27. So hope she loves it. Again, great little staple summer piece. And finally, this was one of the brands that I was so excited to find, and I ended up finding 2 like back to back. This is Henrik Vibskoff, who is a designer that's very like, just very artistic. He was one of my bucket list designers, and he does these, I mean, this feels very unusual for him because he does design so much in black. His style is a little bit more like black, monochromatic, and like architectural versus print-based. So this is kind of an unusual dress. But I'm excited to find any piece. It's definitely a label to be on the lookout for. The other piece I found, I bought it for me. It was a size small, but it was very oversized. It just didn't lay right on me, so I sold it, and it sold within like a day. Again, this being a little bit more of an unusual piece for him. It did take a little bit longer, but I'm not surprised. He is kind of a niche designer, and this is kind of a niche piece for a niche designer that not everybody knows. Either way, please be on the lookout for that label. Quality on it, obviously amazing. And the print, when you look at it a little bit closer, you can see it's like a photo print that's been treated differently. That feels very Andy Warhol to me. That was kind of what Andy Warhol did. He would take like photographs and he would treat it with different kind of chemicals to get different effects. Like that was one of the kind of like artistic tricks he had in his arsenal. So anyway, I had this listed for just 1 month. So it took longer than the other one to sell, but not by much. I'm always happy for something to sell within a month. And I had it listed at $128. This was probably about $500–600 new. And it popped through as a full price sale. So like I said, definitely a brand to be on the lookout for. Henrik Vibskoff. And with a $2 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $100.40. And oh my God, I hope she loves it. Such a treat for me to have something like this come through my hands. It just like, this was in the bins, you know, the next stop for this was the landfill. I mean, maybe overseas somewhere, but more likely that was gonna get bailed up and sent to the landfill somewhere. But that is it, guys. That is the shipment for today. Thank you so much for hanging with me while I get my work done. It's always so fun to have somebody to yak with and talk business with. Let me know your feelings on the new rules for Poshmark. Do you think it is a sign of customer experience changes to come? Do you hate it? Is it killing your sales? Is it helping your sales? Let me know. I'm really interested to hear everybody's experience with it and everybody's thoughts on it. So remember, be kind in the comments. People have feelings. But guys, if you had fun, please consider leaving a like or a comment on this video. Of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. If you ever have any kind of content that you want to see me make, don't ever hesitate to drop that down in the comments as well. I always keep my eyes out for it. But without further ado, guys, I hope you have the most beautiful weekend. Happy hunting, and I will see you all in the next